been driven already, but this is an overview of it running and how it sounds outside after it's been tuned in. We got our historic plate on it. It's a historic car. Pop the hood up on it. Motor again. So far everything's come together real well. We have that. We have the Paxton water injection, methanol injection bag up there. Let's do some work on that. It's old. 89. Basically, the tune so far is 11-to-1 motor. We're running 93 octane in it, actually 92 non-ethanol fuel in it. And the SBO injectors, we've tuned them. I started out at a base stock point, which I thought we'd actually have to go lower, but actually they had to go base stock up in the low 40s. That's with vacuum, and so off vacuum, the injectors are hitting close to 50 psi, and then under boost they run up to 60, in the mid 60s. And we have the methanol water injection set to kick on about right about 2 pounds of boost, if that's even accurate, somewhere right in that range. Basically, when the boost starts coming in, and then that starts to spray, and you'll have a transition point, kind of a quadrojet transition point, almost a fog down. And then it'll come alive when the injectors open up and the water starts spraying. So we got this thing all ready, and one of the things that the next project on this car, it's been 3 years now, we got to fix that door. And this is an all original car, and we destroyed that accidentally, pushing the car backwards with the door open and hit a post. So nothing was ever done to the car driving, but that's what happens when you got cars you push around all the time that don't run or we're taken apart. So that is a real bummer, and I've been dreading that for years, but I got a real good guy that does nothing but high-level show cars that's going to work on that door for me and hopefully make it impossible to tell that it was ever painted, but all you people will know it was, but that's the only part of the car that's ever been painted on this thing. Or will be. Who knows how that'll turn out. I'm curious, but pretty sure it'll be good. H4 Hella lights. Had those in there a long time ago. But it's amazing how smooth this thing runs, and it's just, I'm impressed to heck and back. I'm tickled pink versus what it used to be, because it was a lopey SOB with a lower compression. Now it's no lope at all. You want to rev it one more time? So Brent's revving it up for me here off the cruise control. Sounds real good. Said I had it out 500 for sure, because that's what they did before with less stuff. But I have transitioned the runners to bigger, so that's going to obviously bring down a little torque to a point and move it up top some. But still, these big tube runners are huge on torque. Let's go inside of the 35th anniversary 4+3 car, all original. Turn the air condition on, even though it's, what's the outside temperature here? 66. Let's turn it on anyway. You know, a little RPM drop, little correction, but yeah, it loads the air conditioning great. I'll probably add just a little water to it, but it's pretty much topped off. Maybe about 15, 20, 25 miles on it. Probably a good 2 hours of running, just tuning around with it. But I think it's going to really pick up when we get the some good fuel in it, and some boost juice and the methanol injection. And I'm not going to do that until we get to the next step. I want my door fixed first. Let's see where we're at here. 184. Oil temp still low. Oil pressure's 58. Turn the air conditioner back off. Fan should be kicking on here. 180. There goes oil temp up to 150. That's where these cars start to register, at least on the digital screen. So at 150 they start on the temperature, otherwise it just says low. And the end of this has got a 160 thermostat in it, and the chip is set to turn the fan on at 180. It doesn't get very hot unless it's really hot in the summertime, but when you get Dallas 105 degree days, this car usually doesn't go out because it is supercharged. It's non-intercooled, but it is intercooled with the the injection, which is actually better than an intercooler. And we haven't even washed this car. It literally has not been washed in 3 years. It just sits under covers and in the shop, so that's how we keep things around here. Adding a little coolant recover vial, we'll get that, suck in a little more water there. Yeah, once we get this thing all detailed up, it's going to be a showstopper for sure. It's a damn good looking car. It always has been. These are starting to come into their own, so doing these videos much as to document this car is to promote C4s. That I'm not trying to sell anything at all, especially not this car or any of my other cars. I'm not trying to sell you an engine. I'm not trying to sell you any kind of work. So we only work on, basically people we know around here stuff. But just promote these cars and let people know how cool they really are. Because the C4 still had the aerodynamics and agility to go 150 miles an hour, and not much else could do that. And then starting in 85, well, you know, we brought in the tune port with the iron head motor, a little bit lower compression, just a regular cam, just a flat tappet cam on that. And then starting in late 86, I believe, early 87, that's when it really took off, especially for IROC, especially for the tune port motors, because that's when we got the aluminum heads and the hydraulic roller camshaft and all the upgrades that they did. And these motors, for their day, were very, very fast in the time. And you'd run up against, you know, some pretty hot cars just in a stock one of these and do well. And then, of course, this car, the 4+3 bone stock, this car would go 170 miles an hour. That's not a joke. And I've done it, been there, and that's with catalytic converters, that's with everything when it was stock. Took it a while to get there, but it did do it. Then we started modifying it and then started doing the supercharger, and then it just, you know, a totally different world at that point. And all through the early 90s, this car, I mean, it was if you're in Dallas, you may know this car. It was a force to be reckoned with. There wasn't much that could beat this car. And we had cars come off trailers, we had cars come off of everything. And basically I've kept the same configuration this way, even though there's 3,000 ways to go better now. But this is just to keep the nostalgia of what this tune port stuff is and what it did. And basically we transitioned from the L98 into the ZR1. And when the ZR1 came out, holy crap. You know, well, we were still actually, this car was going faster than the ZR1 stock. But the ZR1 did something that this car does not do. And that is, you can get in a ZR1 and hold it to the floor from here to California at 180 miles an hour. Now, this car will pretty good endurance, and I've run this thing fast for a long time and hard, but I would not put it on a endurance test track and try and prove something, because one, it's going to run out of methanol injection at wide open throttle probably in 20 minutes, so you're done right there. It's going to superheat, it's going to blow up, and that's just, you know, the nature of it. Not many cars can do that. And that's what most people don't realize, is the ZR1 has more endurance than any new Corvette has, any C8, any, you know, Z06, anything now. And they won't even try and endurance that Z06 yet, the new one. I'd like to see them do it, because I guarantee it will not do what the 90 ZR1 did. I promise you it won't. So these cars fall in that category of where they got pretty damn fast. This is where performance started coming back from the lull in the 70s and horrible early 80s to the late 80s, and you're looking at a very potent car. And you know, 90 ZR1 came out, and it is a supercar. Oh, the Corvette, you know, it beat everything. It beat all the Ferraris, beat all the Lamborghinis, beat everything, and it did it endurance. And of course, these cars never had that from a stock perspective, but they do have it, you know, with a little bit of modifications like this. Of course, you know, you can get a brand new C8, and who knows, this car may beat one of those. We'll find out. But you know, the best I've ever seen in this car is low 12, 200 miles an hour. So not in the quarter mile, but that's what it'll do. And I promise it's going to do that now, because it's got so much overhead right now from just me messing with it. You can tell it's there. And if I get it all right, it's going to just go. And it did before. It ran hard. So I'm not reinventing an idea. I'm just reproducing the same thing that it did before. And then if you want to look at other L98s, go ahead and shut it off, Brent. Running good. We have some of these, the Callaway twin turbos, and yeah, they have more torque for sure than that car. Because this car here, this is a stock one. It's a NCRS car. But I'm going to make videos of my other ones. I've got to change the injectors in my 89, and that car is ungodly powerful. And it's running basically the same kind of manifold setup as the 88 I showed you out there, with the turbos, and then more boost, more fuel, and the Callaway modifications that they call the Wonder Bar, which actually makes the car have more air pickup to the turbos. So yeah, that's a fast car, and it's basically set up similar to the Sledgehammer, other than the Sledgehammer used the more of the LT1 style intake, which is a better way to go in most cases. But I went with big torque, so I want to run it torque more, because you never can quite get the RPMs out of these things that you want, and it's you know, unless you go to crazy heads and all that other stuff. So you might as well produce it in the arena where the car will run, and that's about 3,500 to 5,800 RPMs, and run it in there and make it as much powerful as you can in that area, and you'll win races that way. Win races against some very fast cars. But I said, everybody that I've known, and even including myself, that try and make these L98 some 7,000 RPM motor, you're just not going to do it. It's not there. And you know, even with a mini ram, you're gonna lose torque. You're gonna gain a lot of horsepower, but you're still not a zinger. And if you try and do it with a supercharger, better be one big, crazy mammoth supercharger, not one of these street little, you know, driver type superchargers like this. It's better be total race car. Like this car right here, daily driver. You make it a daily driver all you want, and it's fine. Only part that I would say no is when you start getting into that 100 plus degree weather, and if you're going to sit in traffic and do that kind of stuff in 100 plus degree weather, these are not the car for you. Well, even a ZR1 it'll do it, but why do you want to torture a car like that? And a lot of people do it. New C8s are being tortured every day, baked under the hood or under the back, and heat is hard on cars. But anyway, so that's my concluding some of my, I'm going to do a few more videos on this car after we get it all done, concluding my C4 promotion and this 88 Corvette that's been Paxton Supercharged since '89, and the motor configuration we had in now. So hope you get to watch all the videos and either appreciate something, learn something, or help me learn something. Thanks for watching.